My name's Trent. I'm a chemist. This is my brother Troy. He's merely a biologist. And we are
The Bourbon Brother Whiskey Nerds. We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
It's another first round matchup
of the Bourbon Brothers Budget Bottled and Bond Bourbon Bracket Blind. Woo!
Another first round matchup in our first round matchup. Spoiler alert. If you have not watched our first round matchup, stop, go back and watch that one, and then watch this. But in our first round matchup, Old Granddad, the 1 seed, did indeed defeat its 8 seed opponent in a close matchup, J.W. Dant, to make its way into the final four of this Bourbon Challenge. That'll be in late March. In mid-March, we'll do the next two. Here in early March, we have another first round matchup where the 4 seed, Evan Williams Bottled and Bond, will take on the 5 seed, JTS Brown Bottled and Bond.
2 Heaven Hill products.
Interestingly, 2 Heaven Hill products. So Heaven Hill, given its quite complimentary, I mean this legitimately, we're not big fans of Heaven Hill, but the Heaven Hill Distillery does do a really good job with lots of Bottled and Bond products. Got lots of teams into the field, lots of nice budget offerings. I bought this relatively recently. It was less than $20. I think it was $18. This we bought in Kentucky. Really inexpensive stuff.
You can find this for sub 15 if you really try.
If it's on sale somewhere, absolutely. Yeah. Since they're Heaven Hill products, both of these are going to be 78% corn, 10% rye, 12% malted barley. The traditional Heaven Hill mash bill. They have lots of things in that range. But I've poured Troy's blind. He's poured my blind. So again, even though we're not completely sure, and it's possible that what's on my left is on his right, it'll work out okay. We wanted to obviously blind these. There are only 2, but I think it's fair to say, Troy, that we're not totally sure where we're going to go here.
This
could go either way.
Really, it's just hard to say, and this is why you blind.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So 2 interesting Heaven Hill products. Let's get started on the nose. I'm going to go from left to right here.
Caramel bomb.
Almost butterscotchy.
Yeah.
Butter is a good note. I'm getting some buttered popcorn.
Caramel bomb I'm sticking with.
Now there's some spice.
There might be a little maple coming through on here.
Is there a syrupy sweetness?
Syrupy sweetness.
Boy, I like the way that smells. Okay, this one's a little bit more funk. That Heaven Hill funk.
I would agree. Sometimes when you're blinding and you're nosing, you can sniff your water, kind of cleanse out
the Bourbon Brother Whiskey Nerds tip, folks.
Yeah. Kind of clean out the nasal passages a little bit.
Boy, this first one's a little bit more aggressive, I think. A little bit more.
A little bolder.
I am bourbon, hear me roar. All right, cheers, folks.
You know what that is? That's just a nice sipping bourbon.
It's a big pop of flavor.
Yep.
And again, I don't want to speak for Troy, although I imagine he's in broad agreement. We're suckers for that big pop of flavor right at the early to mid palate.
Right at the front of the palate, on the tip of the tongue. I want that bourbon to explode.
Yeah, I want that. I love that pop of flavor. If you remember the Brothers Blind, the one thing that decided those 5 that Troy blinded for me was there was that really nice pop of flavor.
There's a finish on this, too.
It's amazing.
Little oaky.
Oak is a really good note.
Maybe little bit of stringent.
I mean, it has to be 4 years since it's bottled and bond, but it could be older.
Could be older.
Boy, I might even like the nose more than the palate. I'm getting a little bit more of the funk from the Heaven Hill products that we like to talk about on the palate that I got on the nose. Boy, that nice caramely sweetness right on the front.
That caramel bomb.
Wow. Really, really nice. Really, really nice. Whew, I'm going to take a sip of water. This one on my right is going to have some making up to do. Whew.
Yeah, that's going to be a heavy lift.
This smells really nice. It's not quite as aggressive on the nose as the one on my left was. We'll see if it reads the same on the palate. Well, Troy, again, an easy sipper.
More funk.
There's some funk on
More
this.
funk.
Maybe a little bit more funk. Oh, there's the finish, though. Burn.
It's not as bold and as aggressive as the one on my left.
But the finish might be better. I might have a better finish on my right than my
Boy,
left.
I don't know. I like the finish on the left an awful lot.
Well, they might not be the same. I'm going to need to go back to these because right now it's a close match. Oh, boy, it just, you know what it just smells? Good. That's what it smells. It's good.
I do like that punch of flavor.
I got to wait for that finish on the right here. I like, there's some unctuousness on the right that I like. I think it might be a little thicker. Might be a little bit better on the Pervy Term and Bourbon, that mouthfeel. I'm going to go back to the left.
I'm going back to the right.
Boy, oh boy. Boy, you're right. The left one has a nice finish, too.
Whew.
All right. I think I know what I'm going to do.
I think I know what I'm going to do.
I'm going to stand by the one on the right having a better finish than the one on the left, but it's close enough that nothing can touch the nice burst of flavor on the left. And so I'm going to go with what's on my left.
I'm going to go with what's on my left as well.
So that's really, really interesting. What was on your left was JTS Brown.
And that is also what was on your left.
Wow,
JTS Brown.
JTS Brown, bottled in bond bourbon. Really good stuff, folks. Evan Williams hanging in. Again, I don't know that it came down to a shot at the buzzer, but once again, JTS Brown pulled down more offensive boards, a little more points in the paint. Their taller center, as you can see here, made a few more points in the paint, led them to the victory. He's the most outstanding player of this particular matchup in the first round of our Bourbon Brothers Bottled and Bond Budget.
So in
Bourbon
our
bracket
final
line.
four thus far, we've got JTS Brown
and Old
Granddad, and so far Trent and I have agreed.
The moderate upset, the 5 seed beating the 4 seed. Again, if you missed it on our first episode, which is silly, this is why you need to like and subscribe.
You should go watch it.
Right? This is why you need to like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode and get these darn spoiler alerts. But Old Granddad did defeat JW Dant. JTS Brown was the 5 seed. Evan Williams, Bottled and Bond, the 4 seed in our bracket. This was determined by just looking, once we picked the 8 bottles, what were the higher reviewed. I went to 3 different review sites that review bourbon, just averaged the scores to get our seeding. JTS Brown, just that punch of flavor. Again, Troy and I are suckers for a punch of flavor early on the palate. Really, really nice. Really, really nice. JTS Brown proving to be the best of the Heaven Hill Budget Bottled and Bond. I don't think there's another Heaven Hill product coming on. So, well, we've got our first 2 into the Final 4, and now you get to be what I like to call, you're in Bourbon Brother Whiskey Nerds cliffhanger mode, because it's going to be a couple weeks before we do the next 2 blinds. We're keeping you on the edge of your seat. Like a good soap opera, right? Always watch
as the bourbon swirls in the glass.
As the bourbon swirls in the glass. Let us be your guiding light.
That's right.
As we're
the
looking
earth
for the
rotates
bold and the
around its
beautiful
head.
bourbons, right? Yes. I'm running out of puns.
I know.
So we might as well end the episode.
We're out of puns. We might as well sign off.
Yeah.
Hey, you know,
we've got nothing else useful to say, and this pretends we have useful things to say to begin with, which may or may
most
not
of the time we don't.
may or may
But
not
we
be
make
true.
it up.
We're hanging in.
We're hanging in there.
Hey, folks, always thank you for joining us.
Don't forget, like, subscribe, share, tell everybody
that we're doing
the
Bourbon Brothers Budget Bottled and Bond Bourbon
Blind
Bracket.
Ah.
I love the blind. If people like this, we'll make it a yearly thing.
We could
Every March we could. Again, we don't have to do budget bottles all the time. We could do rye. Now that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
We could do rye.
We could do everything in the same price category between 30 and 40
30,
bucks,
40,
40
yeah.
and 50 bucks.
Let us know what you'd like to see in the
absolutely.
comments for next March's.
And we don't even need to wait till March.
Blind.
We could have March in October.
We could.
We can celebrate. It's halfway to March.
That's right.
What is halfway to March? I think I did that right.
That's right.
September, October.
October. Yeah.
So in any case, folks, hey, thank you so much for joining us. Please make sure you're always drinking what you like.
And liking what you drink.
Thanks, folks.
Bye
now.
everybody.